Welcome, Swagatham, Vanakkam. In this video, I propose to share with you a few passages from Joseph Mazzini's very influential work titled Duties of Man, published, as I said in one of my earlier videos, in 1862. Since I've already introduced that book, I propose to avoid that introductory remark altogether and take you straight to some of the paragraphs that relate to Joseph Mazzini's idea of what a country should be, what our idea of home, and what our idea of women should be. So these are the three main areas. I'll now just read those sections. I may stop here and there, but I'll try to reduce my interventions to the minimum. Country is not a mere zone or territory. The true country is the idea to which it gives birth. It is the thought of love, the sense of communion which unites in one all the sons and daughters of that territory. And the paragraph that follows is the one that would interest you immediately, because Gandhi's idea of Antyodaya, the idea that unless the very last man is uplifted, the country has developed. So that is derived from this statement. So long as a single one amongst your brothers and sisters has no vote to represent him in the development of the national life, so long as there be one left to vegetate in ignorance where others are educated, so long as a single man or woman, able and willing to work, languishes in poverty through want of work to do, you have no country in the sense in which country ought to exist, the country of all and for all. In other words, according to Joseph Mazzini, a country from which even one person feels excluded or left out or disempowered cannot call itself, in the true sense of the word, a country. I'm reading this from a digital version of the book, so I have to look at my computer screen. Education, labor, and franchise, and very important to note this: education, labor or work, education, labor, and franchise, the right to vote, are the three pillars of the nation. Rest not until you have built them strongly up with your own labor and exertions. Now, he also says that your love for the country can never be complete without your loving other countries as well. Let me read that paragraph. Never deny your sister nations. Be it yours to evolve the life of your country in loveliness and strength, free from all servile fears or skeptical doubts, maintaining as its basis the people, as its guide the consequence of the principles of its religious faith, logically, energetically applied. Its strength, the united strength of all, its aim, the fulfillment of the mission given to it by God. Now, I skip some passages and I come to the next chapter, chapter 6. I was so far reading from chapter 5. Now, let me see. Yes. Now, here in this chapter, Joseph Mazzini is dealing with the importance of family. He said, just as we take our country seriously, just as we must be proud of our country and serve our country with devotion and distinction, so also we must attach due importance to our family life and carry out all our family or domestic responsibilities to the best of our abilities. Now, let me read Mazzini's words. The family is the heart's country. There is in the family an angel, possessed of a mysterious influence of grace, sweetness, and love, An angel who renders our duties less arid and our sorrows less bitter. The only pure and unalloyed happiness, the only joys untainted by grief granted to man on this earth, are the happiness and the joys of the family. He who, from some fatality or position, has been unable to live the calm life of the family, sheltered beneath this angel's wing, has a shadow of sadness cast over his soul and a void in his heart which nothing can fill, as I, who write these pages, know. Joseph Mazzini is actually making a confession of his personal sadness as well, and bearing testimony to the unmatched importance and resources of family as an institution from his own personal experience. I continue to read. Bless the God who created this angel. By the way, this angel is the woman in the house. Bless the God who created this angel, O ye who share the joys and consolations of family. Hold them not in light esteem, because you fancy you might find more ardent pleasures and more facile consolations elsewhere. There is in the family an element rarely found elsewhere, the element of durability. Family affections wind themselves round your heart slowly and all unobserved, but tenacious and enduring as the ivy round the tree. They cling to you hour by hour, mingling with and becoming a portion of your very existence. Very often you're unconscious of them because they are a part of yourselves. But when once you lose them, you feel as if an intimate and necessary portion of your life were gone. You wander restless and unhappy. It may be that you again succeed in finding some brief delights or consolations, but never the supreme consolation of calm, the calm of the waters of the lake, the calm of the trusting sleep, a repose like that of the child on its mother's breast. This angel of the family is woman. Whether as mother, wife, or sister, woman is the caress of existence, the kiss of existence, the affectionate, tender kiss of existence, the soft sweetness of affection diffused over its fatigues, a reflection on the individual of that loving providence which watches over humanity. She has in her a treasure of gentle consolation, sufficient to soothe every sorrow. Moreover, she is for each one of us the initiatrix of the future. Initiatrix of the future means the entry point into the future. The child learns its first lesson of love from its mother's kiss. In the first sacred kiss of the beloved one, man learns the lesson of hope and faith in life. And hope and faith create that yearning after progress and that power to achieve it step by step. That future, in short, whose living symbol is the infant, are linked with the generations to come. It is through woman that the family, with its divine mystery of reproduction, points to eternity. Hold then the family sacred, my brothers. Look upon it as one of the indestructible conditions of life and reject every attempt made to undermine it, either by men imbued with a false and brutish philosophy or by shallow thinkers who, irritated at seeing it too often made the nursery of egotism and the spirit of caste, imagine like the savage that the sole remedy for this evil growth is the destruction of the tree itself. The conception of the family is not human but divine, and no human power can extinguish it. Like the country, even more than the country, the family is an element of existence. Now, I skip a few passages and come to the next paragraph. Your mission is evermore to sanctify the family. We must not only live in our homes, we must also sanctify the family to link it ever more closely with the country. That which the country is to humanity, the family must be to the country. Even as the scope and object of our love for the country is, as I have told you, to educate you as men, so the scope and object of the family is to educate you as citizens. The family and the country are the two extreme points of one and the same line. And wheresoever this is not the case, the family degenerates into egotism, and egotism, the more odious and brutish, inasmuch as inasmuch as it prostitutes and perverts from their true aim the most sacred things that be, namely our affections. Now I read the last couple of paragraphs, short paragraphs, then I close this video. Love and respect woman. Four words that Keralites in particular need to hold very dear to their heart, given how sex related crimes and atrocities against women are spiraling out of control in this beautiful state. Love and respect woman. Seek in her not merely a comfort, but a force, an inspiration, the redoubling of your intellectual and moral faculties. Cancel from your minds every idea of superiority over woman. You have none whatsoever. Long prejudice, an inferior education, and a perennial legal inequality and injustice have created that apparent intellectual inferiority which has been converted into an argument of continued oppression. But does not the history of every oppression teach us how the oppressor ever seeks his justification and support by appealing to a fact of his own creation? What he means is that you oppress women, as a result of which they suffer degeneration. Then you use that degeneration as a fact to reinforce your argument of prejudice against women. Then he goes on to give some examples. Maybe I should read that also. I'll read that sentence once again. But does not the history of every oppression teach us how the oppressor ever seeks his justification and support by appealing to a fact of his own creation? The feudal caste that withheld education from you, the sons of the people, excluded you on the grounds of that very want of education from the rights of the citizen, from the sanctuary wherein laws are framed, and from that right to vote, which is the initiation of your social mission. The slaveholders of America declare the black race radically inferior and incapable of education, and yet persecute those who seek to instruct them. Well, he goes on to argue this further. It's not necessary. So, the reason I thought I should share these passages with you is that human life is suffering widespread, subtle, insidious degeneration. Life is getting cheapened, and we are losing a sense of the greatness of life. We are losing our capacity to be reverential about life, about nature, about God, and we tend to trivialize everything, as a result of which we fail to enter into the depth of things and to derive from there the real sustenance for the greatness of our own life. So it's very essential for us to realize that humankind did not think about fundamental realities of life as we think about them today. That during the times when great literature was produced, great ideas were formulated, great attempts and enterprises were launched, people entertained a very different idea about the world, about life, about the country, about the human family, the global human family, about women, about interpersonal relationships, about the fundamental values of life, so on and so forth. Today we belittle everything. And there can be no doubt about this, that this is a trend which does not benefit anyone. Rather, it's bound to erode the very foundation for our wholesome living together. And only when we read the classics of the past, great works produced in a distant period of time, at least in a different intellectual and cultural context, do we become clear about what we are actually corrupting, ruining, and discarding, and the fact that these are indispensables of life. So I sincerely hope that my viewers, who fortunately are happy and eager to think, would take insights like this seriously. They're not my insights. They are derived from uh, great works. Whatever I'm sharing with you, very little is my own original idea. About 99% of what I've shared with you so far is derived from my reading of the great classics and works of others. Maybe occasionally here and there would be a stray idea that I can sincerely call my own. So I would recommend you to read great works from the past, because we are living in a media age. And as Eric Fromm says in one of his books, and I think that the book title of the book is Anatomy of Human Destructiveness. He says we are living in the media age, and media is bulk without nourishment. Bulk without nourishment. What we need is nourishment. And that nourishment for the human beings that we are, nourishment for our feelings, nourishment for our thought, nourishment for the very depth of our being, can be derived only from great works, the classics produced over a long period of time. So I recommend the reading of such serious works, which sometimes make demands on us. They're not light reading, obviously, but you must have patience if you have to derive the true benefit of classics like this. So, once again, please download this book from the net, Duties of Man by Joseph Mazzini, and read at leisure. It has only 249 pages, less than 250 pages. If you were to read 10 pages per day, which is not a heavy at all, you have to read 10 pages per day, you can easily finish it in 1 month's time. People who are in their retired life, who therefore have plenty of time at their disposal, can actually finish this book in 2 or 3 days. But others who are busy with various other tasks and responsibilities can set apart half an hour. In half an hour, you can read 10 pages very easily and reflectively. And if you do that over a period of, say, 28 days, 24 days, you will cover this book. And I can assure you, you will feel happy that you did so. Thank you. All the very best.